Didn't wake my partner for a family trip and he missed it. Now he's reevaluating his life, our relationship, and his toxic family ties. I, 26F, and my partner, 28M, have 5 daughters, 7, 6, 4, 3, and 5 months. For a long time, we've had an ongoing issue about mornings. He thinks he should be able to sleep in on his days off, while I feel we should either get up together or at least alternate who gets to sleep in. Our therapist has even mentioned that he should step up and help more in the mornings. Recently, we had a family trip to the zoo planned with both of our parents, our sisters, and their kids. In the past, when we've gone out for the day, I've had to shake him awake several times, and he'll lie in bed while I get the kids ready. He usually gets up 5 minutes before we leave, after I'm already shouting that I'm heading to the car. I've told him how frustrating this is. It's a lot of work to get 5 kids ready, and it's not fair for me to handle it all while he lounges. He always apologizes and promises he'll do better next time. The night before the trip, I reminded him that we'd need to be up at 6:30 a.m. so we could get everyone ready and leave by 8 a.m. He said he'd set an alarm, and we went to bed. When my alarm went off at 6:30, I got up, but he stayed in bed. This time, I decided I wasn't going to wake him. I got all the kids ready on my own, and by 8 a.m., he was still sleeping. So I loaded the kids in the car, and we left. We got to the zoo at 9:30 a.m., and his family immediately asked where he was. I casually mentioned that he was still in bed and chose not to come. At 10:15, I got a call from him asking where we were. I told him we'd left for the zoo as planned and that I waited, but he never got up. He was furious, saying I should have woken him up like I always do and that I made him miss the trip. He even called his mom, who then yelled at me in the middle of the zoo about how unfair I was for not waking him up and letting him know we were leaving. My mom jumped in and said it wasn't my job to get him out of bed. He needed to take responsibility for himself. Things got heated, and his family stormed off for the rest of the trip. Meanwhile, I had an amazing time with my kids, parents, sister, and nephews. When we got home, my partner started arguing with me again about how I should have woken him up. Am I wrong for not waking up and going without him? Update 1 week later. After sharing my story, I received a lot of messages with concern and advice, so I wanted to update everyone on how things turned out. The morning after everything happened, my partner got up with the kids and took the older girls out for breakfast. Later, I asked if he'd be willing to read the thread I posted, and he agreed. Afterward, he was very quiet and admitted he was wrong. He even said he felt ashamed of his behavior. The next day, he took time off work, went to his doctor, and started on antidepressants. We also had a long, honest conversation. He opened up about how he'd been feeling and said it hurt to see strangers comparing his behavior to that of a child. He cried when he realized how much he had been letting everyone down, especially his daughters, who might grow up thinking this kind of behavior is normal. That realization hit him hard. He explained that these issues started when we lived with his parents a few years ago. He left home at 17 to get away from his mother, who had told him that men need a woman to take care of them or they'll fail. Living with her again made him feel like a failure, and she fed him ideas that undermined his confidence. For example, if I told him to relax and let me handle the dishes, she would twist it into me thinking he was incompetent, which made him stop trying altogether. He'd wake up feeling useless, and his mother convinced him that his unhappiness was because I wasn't taking care of him like a wife should. After our talk, he decided to cut contact with her, but it didn't go smoothly. She cried, called him a horrible son for abandoning her, and accused me of controlling him. When he blocked her, she started calling from different numbers. Eventually, he changed his number, and we haven't heard from her or his family since. He also admitted he was unhappy at work and felt stuck. I offered to take on part-time work to help, but he insisted that wasn't necessary. Instead, he spoke to his boss, took some time off, and eventually quit. My dad stepped in and helped him get a great new job at his company. It's mostly work from home, which has been amazing for us. He gets to help more with the girls, taking them to school, watching them play while working, and they all love it. Before starting the new job, he surprised us with a trip to the snow for a week. It was incredible. He was relaxed, happy, and fully present with me and the kids. It was such a joy to see him enjoying life again. He's promised to be more open about how he's feeling, and since then, our relationship has improved so much.